When I opened my eyes again, I was holding a bunch of bright red roses in my hand, and I was shyly handing them to Gu Chen. The people watching the fun next to me winked. The rich lady is proposing to you, accept it quickly. Gu Chen will be the son-in-law of the Mang family in the future. In the midst of jokes, Gu Chen's eyes were red with anger. He flipped the table. He also stepped hard on my roses. It was not until my whole face was pressed into the cake that I was extremely sure I was reborn. Mang Sui Sui, what else do you have besides money? Don't think that you can do whatever you want to me just because you helped Xinxin. I have promised to stay away from Xinxin. What else do you want? Gu Chen asked harshly, as if I really insulted him. I fell in love with Gu Chen at first sight and pursued him hard since I entered school, bringing him breakfast made by myself, getting up at 6 in the morning to reserve a seat, taking over his group assignments. These were all the first times in my life, and I gave them all to him without reservation, but Gu Chen was not happy. He said he had someone he liked, who was outside the school. I was sad, but I didn't want to be a mistress, so I stayed away quietly, until last month. Gu Chen suddenly said he was willing to be with me, on the condition that I gave him 1 million and arranged for my brother, a surgeon, to perform surgery on Bai Yueguang's sister. He raised his hand and swore that he would definitely pay back the money, and since I helped him, he would be mine from now on. Without any hesitation, I liked Gu Chen like crazy, naively thought this was a destined idol drama, so I readily agreed to this absurd deal, after getting 1 million. I also begged my brother to perform surgery on his Bai Yueguang's sister, but in the eyes of outsiders, I was a despicable person who used money to force him to be with me. Some people said that I was so rich, if I really liked Gu Chen, this 1 million would be given, and I didn't need to pay it back. Some people also said that I was just vicious and wanted to break up the couple who were destined to be lovers. In my last life, I felt guilty and doubted whether I had really broken up Gu Chen and Qin Xinxin. Now that I think about it, they just took advantage of me. My shoulder was hit hard, and Qin Xinxin appeared out of nowhere, holding a tissue and wiping the cake crumbs off Gu Chen's hands with a distressed look on her face. Gu Chen was just like a wolfhound with mad hair, but now his whole aura has softened. He is really in Chao's camp, but his heart is with Han. Qin Xinxin stared at me. Mang Sui Sui, don't go too far. We will pay back the 1 million sooner or later. You are not allowed to insult Gu Chen like this. I laughed in anger. Booking a whole hotel for Gu Chen's birthday is an insult. Qin Xinxin's sister next to her also began to blackmail her morally. Mang Sui Sui, love is selfless dedication, without asking for anything in return. How can you force them to pay it back? That's right, Gu Chen and Xinxin's love is stronger than gold. If you really love Gu Chen, just help them. Don't think that having a few stinky money is great. Gu Chen has always loved Xinxin. Your rude interference will only make Gu Chen hate you more. This is the behavior of a mistress. Do you know? I said nothing, took the towel handed over by the waiter, and quietly wiped the thick layer of cake on my face. Then I took a knife to cut off a piece and put it in my mouth to taste it. In fact, Gu Chen and I have the same birthday. In order to prepare a perfect birthday party for him, I didn't celebrate my birthday for the first time in more than 20 years. This cake is the result of my learning for a month, unexpectedly, before I could eat it. Gu Chen pressed it into the cake and ruined it. I used to think that God arranged for me to have the same birthday as him, which was a destined fate. Now it seems that Gu Chen is my nemesis. Seeing that I had been silent, I was just eating the cake with a dejected look. Gu Chen finally felt a little flustered. He frowned. Mang Sui Sui, why are you crazy? It's just a cake. Don't act like someone bullied you. Qin Xinxin took Gu Chen's hand, her eyes full of contempt. Don't worry about her. The more she clings to you, she will break up with you if she has the guts. Okay, we break up. Gu Chen paused. What did you say? I threw the cake in my hand on Gu Chen's face and replied. I said, we broke up. Don't you understand what I'm saying? Qin Xinxin, who was closest to Gu Chen, exclaimed in the face of the cake attack. Mang Sui Sui, what's wrong with you? You can't bear to leave Gu Chen. Gu Chen also looked frosty. Playing hard to get doesn't work on me. Your approach will only make me hate you more and more. I crossed my arms and sneered, get out, or I'll find someone to beat you out. This was the first time I said such harsh words to them. I like Gu Chen, so I speak softly and never dare to speak loudly, let alone sneer like today. I treat Qin Xinxin even more carefully, for fear that if I annoy her, Gu Chen will be unhappy. Despite this, Gu Chen did not change his opinion of me, and even joined Qin Xinxin to kill me personally. Even if it is a dog, after more than 20 years of hard work, it should be raised well. Qin Xinxin had never suffered such grievances in front of me, and immediately leaned on Gu Chen's arms and cried aggrievely. Her sisters immediately launched a siege against me, too arrogant. What did Xinxin do wrong? Why treat her like this? Even if you kill Xinxin, Gu Chen will not like you. Gu Chen, are you still a man? You bully Xinxin like this. Gu Chen's face was ugly after being instigated. And his voice became colder. Meng Sui Sui, I just threw your roses and cakes, is it necessary to be so aggressive? I borrowed the 1 million, it has nothing to do with Xinxin, you can't bully her. If it were any other time, he would frown, and I would not dare to continue, but now, what does it have to do with me? I looked at Gu Chen with sarcasm. Okay, 1 million, how are you going to pay it back? 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years? Gu Chen's family is ordinary. And he can't even worry about food and drink, let alone a debt of 1 million, he was irritated by my teasing eyes, and veins popped up on his forehead. 3 months, I will pay you back the money in 3 months, Gu Chen. Qin Jinjin pulled Gu Chen's clothes, looking ugly. Gu Chen was obviously overwhelmed by contempt, and touched Qin Jinjin soothingly, don't be afraid, I will pay the money back, you can rest assured to take care of Yuan Yuan. She just had surgery and can't leave without someone around. Qin Jinjin knew that she couldn't persuade Gu Chen, so she looked at me angrily. Meng Sui Sui, pay the money back, and Gu Chen will have nothing to do with you anymore. I nodded indifferently, seeing that I was unmoved. Her sisters were indignant. You will regret it, Meng Sui Sui. We will never forgive you if you come to our Gu Chen crying in the future. Other onlookers also whispered, Tisk, she's pretending again, how could she bear to part with Gu Chen? It's obvious that she wants to threaten him with money, how can she pay back 1 million in 3 months? She wants to lock Gu Chen in. What a vicious person, you still say that you are relying on your family's money, sooner or later, you will get retribution. No one believes that I will really break up with Gu Chen. After all, I loved him so much that I almost lost myself in love. Gu Chen left with Qin Jinjin and others. The remaining onlookers also gradually dispersed. The huge hotel was decorated with lights and colors. But it was lonely to talk in vain. My best friend Jiang Shui touched my shoulder. Don't you want to chase him? I smiled. We broke up. What's the point of chasing him? Jiang Shui thought of my past and said helplessly. If you really want to, you can do it. For him, you didn't even celebrate your birthday, and lied to your brother that the hotel was for your party. Sui Sui, I think you should go and exorcise the evil spirits. I don't know what's so good about that Gu Chen, I don't like Gu Chen anymore. I said seriously, but Jiang Shui didn't believe it. Who can be fooled by such nonsense? Qin Jinjin dropped out of school. And you begged your father to send her back to school to continue studying for Gu Chen's happiness, and your brother, a dignified cardiac surgeon, was originally studying abroad, but because of you, he came back to do surgery for free. What about you? Look at your hands. The dark circles under your eyes, and your haggard look, I almost don't recognize you. I listened to Jiang Shui's every word and suddenly realized that I had paid so much for him. But Gu Chen never remembers and always only wants to take. I exhaled heavily and met Jiang Shui's expression of disappointment. Don't worry, I will never like Gu Chen again. Maybe I was too abnormal. Jiang Shui opened her mouth wide and closed it tightly. Sister, give up your boyfriend tonight and accompany you well, so that you won't cry too much. I smiled speechlessly. That night, Jiang Shui and I drank a lot of wine together. I vented the pain and hatred that had accumulated in my heart for a lifetime. I hugged Jiang Shui and cried and laughed. Jiang Shui scolded me for being crazy and going crazy without Gu Chen. I shook my head, raised my glass to her and said, congratulations on my new life. Jiang Shui and I laughed and joked all the way to the dormitory building. Suddenly, I saw Gu Chen and Qin Jinjin not far away. Qin Jinjin cried softly. Gu Chen looked distressed and kept wiping her tears. Finally, the two hugged and kissed tightly. Jiang Shui covered my eyes, afraid that I would be angry. I just raised the corners of my mouth slightly, and my heart was calm. After class the next day, I asked Jiang Shui to help me clean up the dormitory. My family is in the local area, and I also bought a house near the school, but in order to make it easier to pursue Gu Chen, I chose to live on campus. But there is no need to endure the hardship now. I was just halfway through cleaning when Qin Jinjin and her group of little sisters came back. As soon as he saw me, he immediately started to act pretentiously. Jinjin, I saw you and Gu Chen hugging each other tightly downstairs last night. You didn't come back in the middle of the night. Did you go to get a room? Qin Jinjin lowered her head shyly and didn't say anything, but her expression was enough to tell everything. The few people looked at me with squinted eyes. Gu Chen is handsome and outstanding. If it weren't for some people interfering, you would have already become the most enviable couple in the school. That's right. You think you are great just because you have a few stinky money, and you even play the trick of paying off debts. You must play it too hard. Gu Chen's family is not bad either. Which of our clothes and bags are not bought by Gu Chen? Hearing this, I looked at the brand name bags on several people in surprise. Did Gu Chen buy all these for you? Qin Jinjin looked proud and raised the Hermes in her hand. Do you think you are the only one with money? If Gu Chen's brother hadn't suppressed him, he wouldn't have asked you for a mere 1 million? I laughed. Just 1 million? Gu Chen applied for a student loan for this school. He is lying. I like Gu Chen, so I will give him a large sum of money when he asks me to borrow money, in order to take care of his pitiful self-esteem. I always make excuses to ask him to run errands for me and count it as errand fees, and keep the secondary card with him under various excuses. It turns out that all this money was spent on Qingjin and her group of little sisters. Qingjin saw that I was frowning, and said proudly, "You can see that Guchen only has me in his heart forever. If you kneel down and beg me, and call Guchen to ask him not to pay back the 1 million, I can barely let Guchen forgive you, also. Give me 200,000 every month. After all, I will go abroad soon, and my sister needs someone to take care of her." Others laughed. The look in their eyes was full of contempt for me, as if they were looking at some cheap garbage. Qingjin met my gaze and spoke unscrupulously. "By the way, I thought about it. If I study in Europe, I can't speak the language. I haven't even passed the CET-A4. It's not too much to hire a translator, right? It would be best if it was a bilingual nanny who could accompany me and take care of me." Jiang Shui couldn't listen anymore and raised her hand to slap me, but I stopped her. "Meng Sui, let me go. Let me tear this bitch apart." Jiang Shui looked at me angrily, and I nodded in her eyes that looked like she wanted to spit blood. Qingjin was surprised, and then she thought of my devotion to Gu Chen and laughed out loud. The sisters next to me were also shocked, and then laughed loudly. "No way, he is really Gu Chen's dog. I told you long ago." Meng Sui is a fool, rushing to pay for it. "What's that?" In the future, when Meng Chan and sister Jinjin have a child, she will rush to raise it. Faced with ridicule, I asked casually, "Any other requests?" Jinjin showed a greedy smile on her face, and thought seriously, "Your brother is very handsome and excellent. He and I are both in Europe. Why don't we go together?" I sneered and threw the lamp in my hand hard at Qingjin's feet. Qingjin was startled and screamed, "How dare you hit me?" I ignored her anger, took out my phone, and called my secretary, Uncle Wang. "Suspend all my secondary cards." Qingjin looked at me in confusion. "Are you trying to suspend the cards and pretend you have no money?" I ignored her and continued to make a call. "Director, I've made up my mind. Whoever got the study abroad quota before will get it, to compensate for it. I'm willing to provide a subsidy of 200,000 yuan." The director was stunned and hesitant. "Boss Meng, it's okay, just do what I say. I'll take care of my dad. Thank you for your hard work." The director was overjoyed. "Great, I'll contact him right away. The classmate's family is not well off. He was originally going to give up the quota. Now you are willing to contribute 200,000 yuan? The other party will definitely thank you very much. And the one you recommended originally didn't even pass the CET-A4. He eats, drinks and has fun everywhere like a little girl all day. I don't know how to tell the other school. It's great that you can change your mind." I raised my eyebrows after hearing the last few words. I was using the loudspeaker. Every word the director said was floating in the dormitory. There were many people who had returned to the dormitory to watch the fun. I smiled. "Director, you are joking." Qingjin's face suddenly changed. "Meng Sui, what do you mean?" I was too lazy to pay attention to her and asked the female master to come up to help me get my things. Seeing that I was leaving, Qingjin grabbed my hand, but I shook it off. She was anxious. "Guchen likes me. I can't do anything about it. He insisted on pestering me. If you send me abroad, he won't have a chance. Look, this is the woman that Guchen has loved for decades. For this woman, he didn't hesitate to kill me with his own hands." Seeing that I always ignored her, Qingjin finally got angry. "Meng Sui, are you sick? You don't have the ability to tie a man down. Why do you take your anger out on others?" This time I smashed a vase under her feet. Qingjin was frightened. Jiang Shui was so surprised that she could stuff an egg into her mouth. And she gave me a thumbs up. Sui, why are you so sober all of a sudden?" Jiang Shui asked cautiously. I didn't answer, but took out my credit card and said in a grand manner, "Let's go shopping." In my last life, I insisted on marrying Guchen despite the opposition of my parents and brother. My parents were so angry that they stopped my card. In order to prove my love for Guchen, I gave up my life as a young lady and started working to earn money. Guchen studied all the way to a doctorate, and I supported him until he got a doctorate. My parents cried with heartache, but I didn't look back. Looking back now, I was really blinded by lard at that time. Jiang Shui accompanied me to go shopping in the mall, from Hermes to Patek Philippe. When I was tired of shopping, Jiang Shui pulled me into a Western restaurant for dinner. "Hello, ma'am, would you like some?" The voice stopped abruptly. Guchen said angrily, "Meng Sui, do you have to chase and humiliate people?" I glanced at Jiang Shui. No wonder she insisted on eating at this restaurant. Seeing that I didn't respond, Guchen became even angrier. "You chased me to my workplace, aren't you annoying? It's not 3 months yet. Get out of my workplace now." I was speechless. "I just wanted to have a meal." Guchen snorted. "You are full of lies. Why did you choose to come here when there are so many restaurants? I've only been here for 1 day and you know why you sent someone to follow me?" "No. I'm going to call the police." "And Jinjin's study abroad, why did you cancel it?" It seems that Qingjin has already told him about what happened yesterday. I'm too lazy to talk to this psychopath anymore. I really don't know why I fell in love with him in the first place. Just as I was about to leave, Qin led her sisters and swaggered into the Western restaurant not far away. After seeing me, she snorted at me with her nose turned up. Qin stepped forward and took Gu Chen's hand, saying tenderly, "Did she follow you again? It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't owe her 1 million. The place for studying abroad is gone, as long as you can get rid of her completely." Gu Chen immediately hugged her in his arms with heartache, and then looked at me angrily. "I will pay you back the 1 million as soon as possible. Don't think about taking your anger out on Xinjin. The study abroad matter has been settled, just because of what happened last night. It has to be cancelled. Meng Sui, don't be unreasonable. The school is not opened by your family." Many customers were already looking over here. They looked pitiful, hugging each other tightly, making me look like a hateful mistress. The study abroad quota was not hers in the first place. "Why are you making trouble with me? Ask her if she has taken the IELTS or TOEFL exams." I took out the recording of Gu Chen begging me to change Qin quota and played it publicly. Gu Chen threatened in his voice, "Meng Sui, this study abroad quota must be given to Xinjin. So what if it belongs to someone else? Can't you grab it? Your parents are so rich. How could there be no way?" Gu Chen blushed and tried to snatch my phone. I didn't let him succeed. It was the weekend, and there were many students from other schools eating here. They were stretching their necks to look over here, taking pictures with their phones, under Gu Chen's gloomy gaze. I called the manager. This waiter humiliated me. The manager looked at my bags of luxury goods, then looked at Qin and others, and quickly scolded Gu Chen. Gu Chen's face turned pale after being scolded, and he threw away the menu in his hand on the spot. I quit. I stopped Gu Chen, who was about to leave, and said provocatively, "If you quit, what will happen to the 1 million? Gu Chen's chest was heaving violently with anger, but he didn't move forward. At this time, Qin said, "We Gu Chen have money. Just go home and admit your mistakes to your parents. A mere 1 million, and you will pay it back with interest." I looked at Gu Chen leisurely. Gu Chen's nails dug deep into his flesh, and his whole body was shaking with guilt. Faced with Qin naive words, he had to raise a pale smile. Ding dong, Gu Chen's mobile phone received a message. At just one glance, Gu Chen looked at me angrily as if he had eaten a dead mosquito. "You actually stopped the secondary card?" I looked at him. "Don't you have money as long as you admit your mistake to your family? Are you afraid that I will suspend your card?" Gu Chen was speechless after being confronted by me. Qin took Gu Chen's hand, glanced at the luxury goods under my feet, and shook the things in her hand in front of Gu Chen. "Meng Sui, stop being arrogant. Gu Chen has money. This bag was just bought with Gu Chen's card." Other sisters showed their shopping bags one after another. All of them were big brands. My secondary card had been suspended for a long time, so these could only be paid from Gu Chen's card. Gu Chen opened his mobile phone and looked at his almost empty savings. His face was very long. I showed the latest model. "This bag may not even be available in stock." Qin felt the provocation in my words and acted coquettishly towards Gu Chen. "Gu Chen, I like that bag too. What's the use of liking it?" Gu Chen shouted, and after knowing that he had lost his composure, he gently comforted him. "Let's go. We'll talk about the bag tomorrow." Qin wanted to insist, but was frightened by Gu Chen's terrible face. Jiang Shui and I finished our meal and just walked out of the restaurant. I received a call. It was not unfamiliar. It was from Qin's sister, Qin Yuan. "Meng Sui, what's the matter? The doctor just said that there is no money in my account. Does Brother Gu Chen know that you do things like this? You even forgot to pay for my hospitalization." I smiled slightly. "I forgot to tell you that I have broken up with Gu Chen." "What? How can you break up with Brother Gu Chen?" A sharp voice came into my ears. I pretended to mention it casually. "Your sister borrowed 1 million from me. 800,000 is enough for the operation. Didn't you leave the remaining 200,000 for you to pay for the hospitalization?" Qin Yuan didn't continue talking. In the previous life, Qin said that she was raising money for her sister, but she actually took the money to pretend to be a rich lady. This Qin Yuan is not someone to be trifled with. There will be a good show soon. During this period, Gu Chen called me several times again, and I pretended not to see it. Jiang Shui said carefully, Sui, have you really let go of Gu Chen?" I nodded. "I had a dream. I dreamed that Gu Chen was a bastard white-eyed wolf. No matter how I covered him, he couldn't get warm." I gave up, recalling the hateful look in Gu Chen's eyes before his death in the previous life. My heart ached. I gave without regrets, but in return I was killed by him. Fortunately, I have been reborn and everything can start over again. Jiang Shui saw that I was in a bad mood and dragged me to the bar. I didn't return to the community until the early morning, at the door of my house. I saw Gu Chen. As soon as he saw me, Gu Chen pointed at me angrily. "You have money to go out and spend money. Why can't you pay Yuan's hospital bills?" Meng Sui, as a woman, how can you be so shameless and vicious? That's a living life. Gu Chen looked heartbroken, but I laughed out of anger. "Gu Chen, if you are sick, go and get treatment. We have broken up a long time ago." Gu Chen was stunned, with a moment of confusion in his eyes, because I never thought that I who was devoted to him, would actually take that breakup seriously. After all, I always wronged myself in the past in exchange for him to look at me. I didn't want to say anything, and raised my foot to go in with Jiang Shui. Gu Chen chased after him, and Jiang Shui got angry and raised her hand to slap Gu Chen. Are you still a man? Sui Sui has already said breakup. Do you understand what people say? As noble as Gu Chen is, how could he bear such an insult? He actually raised his hand to hit Jiang Shui. I was furious, pushed his arm away, and slapped him. If you dare to do it again, I will call the police. Gu Chen looked at my anger and didn't look fake, and withdrew his hand angrily. I don't know when Qin Jinjin came out. She pulled Gu Chen and looked at me with resentment. Meng Sui Sui, don't you just hate me being with Gu Chen, okay? I agree to your conditions, let's go abroad, even if I'm unfamiliar with the place and the people. Even if my CET of 4 is not good enough to communicate, as long as you don't continue to torture Gu Chen, I can never come back. Jiang Shui and I were stunned. We came to the same conclusion. Psychopath, faced with Qin Jinjin's pretended righteousness, Gu Chen was moved to tears. Jinjin, you don't have to be like this. I will never bow to her even if I die. I'll find a way to pay for your sister's hospitalization, even if it means taking out a loan to sell the house. I will help you. The two hugged each other tightly. I found it funny. In my last life, I was cheated of 100,000 by a fraudulent company, and he only left me with a sentence that I deserved it. And now facing Qin Jinjin's lies, he is willing to take out a loan to sell the house. I was so cheap in my last life. Gu Chen wiped away his tears. Meng Sui Sui, don't regret it. My patience with them had reached its limit, so I called the security guard and drove them both out. I brought Gu Chen to this house before, and he could find it easily. I called my parents and agreed to go abroad. My parents were overjoyed and said yes, again and again. I didn't go to school these days, but started to prepare to go abroad, until Jiang Shui called me. Sui Sui, look at the video I sent you. I turned on my phone. The first thing I saw was me throwing a vase at Qin Jinjin, the dormitory, the Western restaurant, and the video of Gu Chen making a scene at the door of my room. They were all maliciously edited. And only Jiang Shui and I slapped Gu Chen fiercely. Countless people commented below, it's great to be rich. I suggest that the 3 generations above be investigated strictly. They are so uncultured, and the money earned by their parents must not be clean. What's the difference between this behavior and a mistress using the school's overseas quota as a bargaining chip? Whoever goes to the same school with these 2 ancestors will be unlucky. It's so funny. It seems that the school is owned by her family. Amniotic fluid is the watershed of life. I wish you a baby without dermatitis. How can there be such a disgusting person? The following is full of abuse. They first posted it on the school forum, and then incited students to forward it to the internet. Now we are famous, and many netizens are asking me to apologize. I don't dare to go out now. There are netizens everywhere shouting that they want to beat us up. Jiang Shui said with a guilty conscience. Also, I thought you were preparing to go abroad, so I went to find Qin Jinjin when it was first posted. I didn't expect her to play dirty, maliciously edited it, and misled netizens. I finished watching the clarification video sent by Jiang Shui. In the camera, Qin Jinjin was crying, but pretending to be patient. I am here to clarify the incident of a Meng Sui Sui and Jiang Shui beat people to force the emperor to take over. Meng Sui Sui was able to do the behavior in the video because she loved Gu Chen too much. I can't afford to love Gu Chen. If my sister interrupts the treatment, she will die. I have no other choice. Studying abroad is over. Meng Sui Sui is a rich lady who is close to the director and is willing to give the student 200,000 yuan. Thank you for the support of netizens. I am too cowardly and can't afford to waste time with them. After the whole live broadcast, it was not a clarification at all, but a naked smear. But netizens nowadays believe everything they hear, coupled with Jiang Shui's threatening phone call. It caused an uproar on the internet, but I am not a pushover. I called the police immediately. They have their own schemes, don't I? I have recorded the school dormitory in advance, and there are surveillance cameras in the Western restaurant and at the door of my house. I don't understand how Qin Jinjin can be so stupid. It was not until Gu Chen called me that I understood why she was so arrogant. Meng Sui Sui, Qin Jinjin posted those videos on the internet, and they were facts. You don't have to make a fuss and call the police. This is the first sentence that Gu Chen said. I find it funny. How dare you say these things to me? Gu Chen's tone was choked, and he spoke again with an aloofness that could not be slandered. Don't be too pushy. Which of the things you did, breaking Jinjin's lamp or slapping me, did you wrongly accuse you? If you really want to make a scene, you won't be much better off. You were only scolded by netizens. But what about Jinjin? She actually had the courage to post the video online. Do you know how scared she was? I laughed angrily. So, because you like her, I should be the one who suffers from rumors? Gu Chen, don't think too highly of yourself. I won't give in to rumors. Let the police handle everything. Gu Chen was so angry that he said, okay, Meng Sui Sui, if you insist on calling the police, I will go live to help Jinjin spread rumors about you. I sneered. I couldn't ask for more. I hung up the phone, looking at the audience in the live broadcast room. Faced with this unexpected reversal, the comment area was dead silent, and then it exploded. Knock, you cheated on my feelings. It turned out to be a story of Phoenix Man and Gold Digger, sister. 1 million, I will work like a cow for you. It's so disgusting, completely reversing right and wrong. Hey girl, don't be soft-hearted. Call the police no matter how much you love. When Guchen called, I started the live broadcast. While chatting, I uploaded the real surveillance. And Guchen's call just now confirmed the fact that Meng Sui maliciously edited it. In the evening, Qin Jinjin and Guchen came to the door. Qin Jinjin raised her hand and wanted to slap me. I pinched her wrist. Meng Sui, quickly remove the video you sent out. Guchen also echoed, you are so despicable, you actually started a live broadcast to plot against me. I didn't expect you to be such a person. I called the property management. But Qin Jinjin snatched the phone away and threw it heavily to the ground. Don't you like Guchen? Why do you treat me like this? I sneered. You were the first to spread rumors about me, and I had already broken up with Guchen, so why didn't you understand? Qin Jinjin, do you really want that place to go abroad? You made all this trouble because you think I don't like Guchen that much, so you started to force me to give you the place. Qin Jinjin paused and retorted loudly, how is it possible? Don't try to sow discord, Guchen, don't listen to him. I took out the photos of Qin Jinjin going in and out of various bars, and the 200,000 yuan that was less than her sister, Guchen. Qin Jinjin has been using you. Do you think she likes you? No, she just uses you as an ATM machine. Qin Jinjin pretended to be innocent, but she actually went to various bars and did not return home until the early morning. Every time she gave Guchen an excuse, she was working. Qin Jinjin snatched Guchen's phone, and after seeing the photos, her whole body was trembling with fear, unrepentant quibbling. Guchen, believe me, I have only you from beginning to end, and I have no bad relationship with anyone. This is a composite photo of Meng Sui. It has nothing to do with me. Guchen stared at the scantily clad woman in the photo and did not speak. In fact, he could distinguish between the composite and the real person, but he was still unwilling to believe it. Then I can only help him again. I took out the flight information Qin Jinjin booked and the photos of the application materials for studying abroad in the agency and sent them to Guchen. The flight is set for the departure date of the school, and the materials are for personal application. Qin Jinjin made 2 preparations. The money was borrowed online with your ID card. It is recommended to check the amount. Jiang Shui was tricked by Qin Jinjin and swore revenge. She asked someone to follow Qin Jinjin, but she didn't expect to find a great secret. These photos were given to me by her. Guchen looked at the photos and carefully checked the information. Now Guchen had to believe it. His eyes were red and he looked at Qin Jinjin in disbelief. Didn't you say that I should take a photo with my ID card as a souvenir? How much did I borrow? Why did you do this to me? Qin Jinjin took a step back in fear, still quibbling. She spread the rumor. Don't believe her. But now Guchen's face was scary. Qin Jinjin shrank and stammered. 1 million. Her eyes were blurred with tears, and she leaned against Guchen tenderly. Imagine that like before, Guchen hugged her in his arms with heartache, no longer angry, but this time the plot did not develop as she imagined. Qin Jinjin was slapped hard on the face. She looked at Guchen in disbelief, and murmured, Guchen, you actually hit me. Guchen used to treat Qin Jinjin as a treasure in his palm, and he would not even scold her loudly, but this time he actually hit her. Guchen's eyes were red. Are you crazy? Dare to borrow 1 million online? Qin Jinjin covered her injured face and said indifferently, it's just 1 million. Don't be angry with your family, go back and inherit the family property. This small amount of money can be solved in minutes. I will take the money to go abroad first, and you will follow later. Isn't it better for us to live abroad? Qin Jinjin tried to persuade him slowly and kindly, but Guchen was indifferent. Qin Jinjin said a few more words about the future she envisioned. Seeing that Guchen remained silent, she could not help herself. Guchen, do you have to be so petty? I have been with you for so long, and it is not even worth 1 million, she said while beating him and crying. I don't have any money at all. Guchen finally roared in unbearable anger. I lied to you. I don't have any money at all. Are you satisfied? Qin Jinjin widened her eyes and could not believe it at all. What did you say? Guchen wiped away the tears from the corners of his eyes and threw the jar to the ground. I don't have any money, and it was all lies that I was angry with my family. Qin Jinjin staggered back in fear. It's impossible. How could you lie to me? Guchen grabbed Qin Jinjin's shoulders. How much money is left? Pay it back quickly. Qin Jinjin turned around and tried to run away in fear, but Guchen grabbed her neck. How much is left? Qin Jinjin was so scared that she burst into tears. Was strangled to the point of being unable to breathe, and dared not to tell the truth at all, only struggling to ask me for help. Save me, but I am not a saint. The pain I suffered in my last life, Qin Jinjin should suffer it too. Seeing Qin Jinjin's disordered breathing and eyes rolling back, the police came. Don't move. Gu Chen was subdued and taken to prison with Qin Jinjin. As early as when the two came to my door, I called the police. I was afraid that they would do something extreme. Qin Jinjin had solid evidence to slander me, so she was detained and just waiting for the trial. She happily accepted this. Because if she was not detained, she might be strangled to death by Gu Chen. Gu Chen sued Qin Jinjin, but found that the 1 million had been spent long ago, since I stopped Gu Chen's card. Gu Chen's savings were quickly squandered by Qin Jinjin and those sisters. It is difficult to go from luxury to simplicity. Qin Jinjin was used to a luxurious life, and it was impossible for her to live an ordinary life steadily, so she boldly used Gu Chen's ID card to borrow money online. She was also ready to flee abroad at any time. Qin Jinjin was sued for having no money. In order to spend less time in jail, she found the sisters who used to eat and drink behind her. Sister Jin. Those things you said you would treat us, how can you give them back? We helped you bully Meng Sui Sui for so long, how can you take these things back? We have no money, the money was borrowed by you, not us. Those people shirked responsibility. Qin Jinjin was also a ruthless person. Suing everyone who spent her money, those people didn't want to go to jail, so they tried their best to raise money. The last one, Qin Jinjin set her sights on Qin Yuanyuan. Don't stay in the hospital. Give me the 200,000 yuan. Qin Yuanyuan would of course ignore her and blocked her, but Gu Chen was not happy. Cherish me. When Gu Chen found me, I was having dinner with Jiang Shui in a shopping mall, but after not seeing each other for a few days, Gu Chen looked much more haggard, and his originally handsome face was stained with depression. Sui Sui, I give up. He seemed to have given up all resistance. I promise to be with you, even marry you, but I have two conditions. First, you help me pay off the 500,000 online loan, and the previous 1 million is also a purchase and sale. Second, agree to sign Qin Jinjin's letter of understanding and give her a chance. Third, I don't love you, and I won't touch you if I marry you. You can do IVF after marriage. I laughed angrily. Gu Chen, don't think too highly of yourself. We broke up a long time ago. Don't bother me anymore. Gu Chen's face was pale. Don't you like me anymore? I called the waiter and pulled Gu Chen away. Only one sentence was left. I want to kill you. How can I like you? Gu Chen looked depressed, completely out of strength, and was easily pulled away by the waiter. Qin Jinjin was sentenced to 10 years in prison for multiple crimes. And Gu Chen didn't give up looking for me, but I went abroad soon. I traveled around the world and lived a carefree life every day. 10 years later, I experienced primitive life on the African savannah. During the call with Jiang Shui, I learned that Gu Chen was oppressed by online loans and became a male model. In the end, he got a dirty disease because of his promiscuous life. Seeing that he was tortured by illness, he stabbed someone to death on the way back to his hometown after Qin Jinjin was released from prison. I didn't continue to pay attention to the two people's affairs. Cherish every day of your life.